Hello, dear hearts. Welcome to Connecting to Consciousness, where the focus is to explore, to question, and examine our perspectives. I'm Nasira Waters, and I'm excited about this journey that we're embarking upon. So, I am revisiting last week's video to add context to the process of this journey of curiosity and self-discovery. And what I know to be true is that in this process, we can experience discomfort, resistance, apprehension, and the like. And the reality is that it's normal. It's normal to have such reactions to a process that is promoting awareness, self-awareness, a process that is supporting us in thinking more deeply about how we show up in the world. So know that it's part of the human condition for there to be some discomfort, even resistance, when going on this journey. And with that, I'm going to share some perspectives about this process. And my hope is that some of these or all of these perspectives will provide some value and encouragement on the journey. So one, as I stated, it's normal. And so I invite you to sit in it. Sit in whatever comes up for you, whatever emotion, whatever physical reaction you have, sit in it and let it be. One of the things that I've experienced is that when I don't resist what is, then I open space for it to flow through me versus resisting it, which can cause it to linger and take hold. So it's really important to sit in it, allow it to be, and give space for it to flow through you. 1. 2, ask yourself why. Why am I experiencing such responses, such resistance, such discomfort, whatever it is? Why am I experiencing this? What is it coming to reveal to me? What understandings can it provide for me about me? And when it comes to the why question, you can go back to the previous video, last week's video, and I go into more detail about the process of asking why. Now, the next thing I invite you to consider is, could it be, meaning could the resistance, the discomfort be shame? Could shame cause you to resist? Could that be the case? And what I understand about this is shame is unproductive. It keeps us stuck. And of course, there's no way to walk in the wholeness of who we are when shame has a grip on us. Next, could it be embarrassment? Although embarrassment isn't shame, it's still unproductive and it still has the capacity to keep us stuck. The next thing that I invite you to consider is, could it be pride? Could pride say, oh no, not me, because I am this and I am that and I am generous. So of course I cannot be X. Dear heart, two things can be true. You can be all the wonderfulness and also show up in ways that do not serve your highest and greatest good. It doesn't take away from the fact that you have different parts of yourself, like all of us do, right? But the reality is that sometimes we have patterns that don't serve our highest and greatest good. And so know that it's okay. It's, again, part of the human condition. Next, could it be a lack of awareness? Could you have a blind spot in a particular area that prevents you from seeing the ways in which you may show up that doesn't serve the best of who you are? Could it be? The other part of the lack of awareness that I invite you to consider is, could it be resistance to acknowledging what you know to be true? Could it be? Also consider, could it be a fear of the unknown? That once you acknowledge the thing, whatever the thing is, once you acknowledge the thing, now what? What does that mean for our lives, right? Once we acknowledge it. So that unknown, could it be fear of the unknown? Lastly, could it be accountability? Meaning, once I hold myself accountable for X, now what? How does that impact the rest of my life? What does it mean for the rest of my life and how I show up in the world? Could it be? So again, it's normal. Ask why. Could it be shame, embarrassment, pride, a lack of awareness, accountability, and the like? Could it be? Some things to consider. And while we go on this journey of curiosity, it's important for us to remember that these areas can cause resistance as we move towards developing into our wholeness. And so, what I will say is that it's crucial that we don't abandon ourselves for the sake of shame, blame, pride, whatever it is. It's not worth abandoning oneself. It would actually be a disservice not to stand up for ourselves, not to realize our greatness and our capacity to not only move through things, but to come out as the best versions of ourselves. So, one of the things that helps me, that has and continues to aid in extending grace and compassion towards myself, is a quote from the late Maya Angelou, which is, "Nothing human can be alien to us. And when I consider that, it helps me to remember that, number one, I'm not alone. Two, that it doesn't make me this awful person because I am struggling with specific things. The other thing that I think about at this moment is comparisons. I've heard people say, and I truly agree, that comparison, I'll say, can be the thief of joy. Because sometimes we can look at others and think that they don't deal with X, Y, or Z qualities that don't serve their highest self. And the reality is, we're human. We all deal with the same human traits at different levels, at different times. They show up in different ways in our lives, but it's a part of the human condition. And it's of no benefit to compare oneself to someone else's journey whose shoes we do not walk in. In addition to that, I will say that, again, we have great qualities, yet we still experience patterns of behavior that do not serve our greatest and highest good. Two things can be true. And so, if we're unwilling to acknowledge and recognize the parts of us that don't serve our highest and greatest good, then we continue in that way and we can't grow. And the ways that we continue in my experience, tend to grow. And I truly believe that most of us want to show up as the best versions of ourselves. And so it makes me think about the process of the beautiful butterfly making its way out of its cocoon. And that process requires that the butterfly, before it evolves into the butterfly, it must strengthen its wings. It must use its legs and wings to remove itself from its cocoon. And that is a process. It is work and it is a process. But the outcome is beautiful. And like the butterfly, this journey of curiosity and self-discovery is also a process that requires work. And the process, as much as it can be challenging, it can equally be beautiful. And if we persist, the end result is one of transformation. And so at this point, what I would like to add is that it's going to take courage. And courage is developed one experience at a time. And as we exercise courage, we build strength. And the more strength we build, the more comfortable we become with acknowledging the parts of ourselves that we desire and long to expand and grow and shift. And so it's important that we do not abandon ourselves, that we rise up to own ourselves. So, dear heart, if your vision is to show up as the best version of yourself, I invite you. Let's take the journey together. Until next time, live consciously.